Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to talk about astrology and information from the past and who uses astrology. You may be surprised to know that this most sacred ancient science, I believe, is one of the oldest sciences in the world, because astrology really incorporates so many of the sciences, such as astrology, of course, incorporates astronomy, and it deals with physics, geometry, and it is so mathematically based. People may not understand this. It is not using a crystal ball. It is not palmistry. It is reading the stars and their relationships to one another and their symbolic meaning. So going back, let me tell you historically who has used astrology. And it may surprise you that President Roosevelt, as well as President Eisenhower, Nixon, all used astrology, and they confided in psychic astrologer Jean Dixon. And what you're going to find also is that Reagan, of course, had an astrologer. His wife, Nancy Reagan, President Reagan, used Joan Quigley. This is all pretty much secret knowledge, but it is a fact. Research it, you will find the truth. And one of my favorite stories is about J.P. Morgan. Did you know that J.P. Morgan's astrologer, Evangeline Adams, told him, do not get on the Titanic? He listened and had the utmost respect for astrology. As a matter of fact, I use one of his quotes in my book, How to Make Money Using Astrology. He said, millionaires don't use astrologers, billionaires do. So it is common knowledge that astrology is used in the stock market. And Ronald Reagan, who was a part of stocks and back to the time of Ronald Reagan's regime, he quotes specifically, it is a well-known fact that people use astrology in the stock market. And they still do to this day, although it is secret. People don't want others to know that they are using astrology for such means. Astrology is simply cycles. If you can understand the cycles before, you will understand the cycles to come, because they are repetitious, as above, so below. And I'd like to really talk about some of the people also that used astrology. For your information, did you know that Adolf Hitler used astrology? Anyone that wanted occult divine powers to know the future is going to be open to this. So Edgar Cayce, the great psychic, great medium of the 20th century, Edgar Cayce, Princess Diana, Winston Churchill, Carl Jung, one of my favorites, psychoanalysis, man and his symbols. He could understand things from the deepest perspective and used astrology. And last but not least, somebody I need to mention is Einstein. These are all people that knew the value of understanding the language of the stars, and that is what astrology is all about. So I just wanted you to know also concerning Jean Dixon, I tell my story many, many times, and that is one of the reasons that got me started in astrology was as a child. It was November 21st, 1963, that I was watching our black and white TV in Dallas, Texas, when I saw Jean Dixon come on, and she pleaded with President Kennedy to not come to Dallas because he would be assassinated. And I have to say The very next day in Dallas, Texas was the most horrendous day I can remember in my life. And of course, my mother, who took my sisters out of school the very next day to go greet President Kennedy at the airport at Love Field, I do see the memory of him walking down the stairs from the airplane into the crowd. The very first people he walks up to is my mother and sisters. This is on all the old History Channel black and white clips. But 30 minutes later, the most horrific thing happened with his assassination here in Dallas, Texas, and it has left a scar and a mark on my home, and it will always be. But I always wondered, how did Jean Dixon know that this would occur? And what if President Kennedy had listened to her? He was the only one out of that span of presidents that didn't use an astrologer. But could history have changed? I believe so, because I believe in free will. And I believe, like in J.P. Morgan's case, he did listen to his astrologer, and the course of history was changed. We do have free will. This is fate and destiny. And another thing, just to make reminiscent of the stars and how the civilizations before made homage and reference to the power of the stars. The pyramids in Egypt and the Mayan pyramids are based on the stars. They are built in accordance to the stars, as well as Stonehenge, based in accordance to the stars. And did you know Washington, D.C. was built in alignment to the stars? So think twice when you think about astrology, because in my opinion, it is the most powerful knowledge. It is the divine science, and we can change the course of history by knowing this divine science. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, you can always go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Or if you would like to learn Vedic astrology, I have a university, University of Vedic Astrology.com. And also, don't forget my magazine, which you can get written transcripts of all of this information, which is astrologicmagazine.com. Thank you.